Well, the NFL draft is just 8 days away, and we are going to talk about some of the prospects the New York Jets have on their top 30 list, particularly the ones you may not know quite as much about, because I didn't know quite as much about them. We've also got the playoff preview for the Knicks, the Rangers, the Islanders. We're going to talk a little baseball as well, but you know what's up. It's Wednesday night, it's 10 p.m., and we are live. Whoa. Welcome everybody to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Watts UK99, and thank you as always for joining me on the Wednesday Night Live extravaganza. And I am coming here live from the studio apartment in Newport News, Virginia. But before we even get into the sports tonight, personal announcement for those who may not have heard the news yet. I will not be a resident of Virginia for very much longer. I am moving to Raleigh, North Carolina. I have a new job, new opportunity, and as of Sunday, a new apartment. So the background might wind up looking a little bit different over the next couple of weeks. I plan on doing every Wednesday show unless something crazy happens, but I've got every expectation that during the week we will be doing the show as usual. So I am super excited for that. We'll keep you posted on how that goes as time goes on. But as of May 11th, I will no longer be here in the Newport News, Virginia apartment, and I'll be down in North Carolina, kind of working my way into my new place. All right, enough of that out of the way. So let's talk about a couple things what we're going to get into. So with the draft talk tonight, we've got just two more live shows before the NFL draft, and I thought what we would do tonight is talk about the top 30 visits that the Jets have had. Now, the Jets have had pretty much all of those visits where they bring these guys in, have them tour the facilities, interview them, test them. They do all kinds of stuff. And I looked at the list, and there were a lot of names that we are very familiar with, but there's also some names, I got to be honest, I didn't even know who these guys were. I had no clue. So I figured what a good thing that would be to do tonight, to talk about the guys that the Jets are paying attention to that we as a fan base may not know as well. That way we're going to be ready for the draft next weekend. But before we get into the main event, let's talk about what's going on. And there is a lot going on in the world of sports tonight with a little bit of what we like to call 3 and out. First of all, for the local baseball teams, what a great day. Whether you're a Mets fan or a Yankees fan, you have to be happy today. First, we're going to talk about the Mets. You know, Pittsburgh came into this series in Citi Field 11-5, but I'll tell you what, the Mets beat them up. You know, Pittsburgh took leads at times during the series. The Mets kept coming back, and finally the Mets had something today that they haven't really had many of during the season, and that was a blowout victory. They thumped the Pirates 9-1. Mets are now 10-8 for the season, but 10-3 in their last 13. So they are streaking and streaking well. You know, the season's only 20 days old, right? Mets have played 18 games. In those 18 games, they have used 20 different pitchers. It is crazy. They are going through pitchers. Oh, my gosh. The way the Jets used to go through backup quarterbacks and coaches. Oh, my gosh. Luis Severino looking great. A 1.13 ERA over his last 3 starts. Pitched 6 innings today. And I want to just mention one or two other guys who deserve some love. Tyrone Taylor. This guy was considered, a throw-in in the trade with Milwaukee that brought them Adrian Hauser. And Taylor has been amazing. He's batting .325, a home run, 10 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, can play anywhere in the outfield. That gives the Mets a lot more flexibility with their lineup. And DJ Stewart, a guy that I have been in his corner for a long time. I backed the Norfolk guys a little extra, and he leads the team with a .932 on base plus slugging. Doesn't have the most hits, but when he gets a hit, it's a big one. Now they're heading to the West Coast for the Dodgers and the Giants, and hopefully Brett Beatty will be ready to go soon after straining his hamstring the other day. And as far as the Yankees go, this was not a must-win, but it was an important win. They'd lost 3 straight games. This was their final game in Toronto. You had Marcus Stroman, my favorite human being, back in Toronto. The Jays led 4-1 going into the 8th inning. Juan Soto with a big solo home run. So the Blue Jays take a 4-2 lead to the 9th inning, and there's no Jordan Romano, who's one of the best closers in baseball there for the Blue Jays. What do the Yankees do? Giancarlo Stanton home run, Gleyber Torres single, Alex Verdugo double. After a ground out, Jose Trevino pinch hits. Good move by Aaron Boone, and he knocks a single off IKF's glove to score Torres. After a pop-up and a Juan Soto walk, Aaron Judge, big single down the left field line, scores 2. It's a 6-4 Yankee lead. And going into the 9th inning, as soon as I saw the Blue Jays were going to lead the inning off with Daniel freaking Vogelback, you had to know the game was over right there. But anyway, Yankees win the game. They are 13-6, and off to Tampa Bay they go. And then they have Oakland, who's actually has a better record than the Astros. Who would have thunk? All right, well, let's go on to, before we go on to the next topic, I want to say a couple of quick hellos to you, my friends here in the chat. We got the great Jets Mess channel member, the first one here, often the last one to leave as well. Glad you're here. Hank G, making everybody feel welcome. And we've got the great Dom C here. I want to thank Dom because he has been keeping a spreadsheet. Check Dom C out on Twitter or X, whichever you prefer. But he's been keeping track of the top 30 visits, who the Jets met with at the Senior Bowl, whose pro day they attended, and he's been keeping an Excel spreadsheet tracking all of that. So I used his spreadsheet to help me gather some of these names. So Dom, I thank you very much for that, even though now and then we have differing opinions over prospects, and that's totally good. All right, well, in the world of basketball, the game just went final about 20 minutes ago. The play-in game in Philadelphia, the 76ers defeat the Miami Heat 105-104. Good comeback by Philadelphia. They trailed by 14 points at one point, but with 1 minute left, the game was tied at 96. And Kyle Lowry, who was with Miami last year, now on the Sixers, drove the Knicks crazy in the playoffs last year, forces Tyler Hero into a backcourt violation. Right after that, Joel Embiid finds Kelly Oubre for a lay-in, puts it in, and gets fouled. And the Sixers would never trail again. Miami did make a three-pointer with about half a second left on the clock, but it was never really in doubt once the Sixers took that lead. So now Miami will host either Atlanta or Chicago on Friday. Winner of that game will play Boston, and the Knicks will host the Philadelphia 76ers in a first-round match. We will preview that game. I think I'll record a separate video to sort of preview my thoughts on that. But I'll put it this way. I wanted the Sixers and not the Heat, and got what I wanted. But you know the old saying, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. And number 3, I want to spend a second on the NHL playoffs. Now, I'm going to do separate videos. If you're a hockey fan, watching the next day or two, I'm going to do 3 videos. One on the Islanders against the Hurricanes, one on the Rangers versus the Capitals, and I want to do one separate video on Artemi Panarin. All right, he has been fantastic for the Rangers this season, but he's never really had that great trademark playoff run. Regular season Panarin and postseason Panarin seem to be 2 different players. Well, I want to talk about what he needs to do in the playoffs this year and why I think he can succeed. But we know the Eastern Conference matchups, and I got to tell you, on paper, they are awesome. In the Metro side of the bracket, you've got the Rangers hosting the Capitals. Capitals with the worst record of any of the 16 playoff teams. And the Carolina Hurricanes will be hosting the New York Islanders. Those series will get going this weekend. But the Atlantic Division side of the bracket, this is going to be good. This is going to be really good. If you're even a casual hockey fan, if you just watch, the local teams, check these series out. The Boston Bruins, who absolutely blew the Atlantic Division, their offense, they had no offense to speak of the last 2 games. putting up about 15 shots on goal a game. They will play the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 2 versus 3. And then the Atlantic Division winners, the Florida Panthers, who made the Stanley Cup Finals last year, will host one of the toughest teams to play, the Tampa Bay Lightning, their cross-state rival. Every Eastern Conference matchup to me has a ton of sex appeal. It is going to be fun to watch. I'm really excited to get to watch these playoffs, to get them started. This is going to be fun. And as far as the West goes, we know the 8 teams that are going to be in. We don't know the matchups yet. We know that the Jets will play the Avalanche, so the Winnipeg Jets, of course, and the Vancouver Canucks will play the Nashville Predators. The Dallas Stars will host, and Edmonton Oilers will host either the LA Kings or the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll know after Thursday which team is playing which. But Dallas and Edmonton will host those series, and Vegas and LA will be on the road for those series. So by Thursday, we will have the bracket in place. We got the great Johnny Jimenez. Talked with Johnny this past weekend on the phone for about 15, 20 minutes when I told him that I was going to be leaving the great Commonwealth of Virginia. And I'm not even saying that facetiously, just not where I wanted to be anymore. Johnny, how about those Mets, man? Fantastic run. You know what I love about the Mets the most right now? They are scrappy. That is what I want the most from a baseball team I root for. I want a good, tough, scrappy team that is never out of a game, because that's when baseball is the most exciting and that's when it's the most fun. And they are definitely that. You know, they weren't the champions of the offseason for a change. You know, they're working with the talent that they have, and so far it's looking pretty good. And we still don't have JD Martinez. We still don't have Kodai Senga. So who knows? Maybe the best days are ahead of the Mets. But this is a pretty good streak. All right, well, with that out of the way, I think we make a little transition right now. You see my bubble down there in the low right there? It's blue. It is Ranger blue, Met blue, Islander blue, but it's blue. I think we need to change that right now. We need to change that color from blue to green. Just like that. So everybody say it with me. Say it proud and say it loud. That's right. New logo and old logo on the same helmet. That's right. This is definitely a helmet wearing night. So let's talk a little bit about some of the news that's going on with the Jets. And after that, we'll talk a minute about the uniforms, and we'll get into I'll give you my take on the uniforms and how I'm feeling about them, and we'll get into the top 30 visits. Of course, later on tonight, we've got trivia coming up, and I'm pretty sure we'll be doing we might do a mock draft or two. And of course, if anybody is interested in supporting, there's different ways that you could do that, and the banner on the screen will let you know. Okay, so CJ Uzomah has signed a contract with the Philadelphia Eagles. I particularly love the press release that talked about how Uzomah will be an extra weapon. Or I think it was maybe like Ian Rappaport or one of those type guys, Adam Schefter, Pelissero. I think it might have been Pelissero, who said that CJ will help the offense. It's such a ridiculous comment. It's something I would expect somebody like Jason La Canfora to say. Okay. Now, unfortunately, Uzomah does not factor into the comp pick equation because the Jets terminated his contract early. Okay. Now, Ashton Davis, had he signed elsewhere, would have factored into that comp pick equation. We'll get into Ashton Davis in a moment. But here's the biggest thing. If one of these 4 players, Mekhi Becton, Carl Lawson, Al Woods, or try to refrain from laughing on this one, Billy Turner, signs a qualifying contract before April 28th, so that's 11 days from now. Okay, so that's basically right around the time of the draft. The Jets will get a 4th-round pick in 2025. So the hope is realistically Becton or Lawson will sign that kind of a contract. At this point, you're not going to see a whole lot of free agent signings coming up. So maybe it'll happen afterwards. However, there was one signing today that I had a little interest in. J.K. Dobbins, the former Ravens running back, has signed with the Chargers. All right, so we will see how his knee is doing. But I got to say, I'm starting to wonder what the Jets are going to be doing as far as the running back position goes. And as we get more and more into the top 30 content, I think you're going to see what I'm talking about. I want to spend a minute on Ashton Davis. I'm very glad that the Jets chose to keep him. You know what? He is one of those players that we have seen get better and better as time has gone on. Early on, it felt like he was an overdraft, and I think the biggest issue was a lot of people had the suspicion that he was brought in to take the place of Jamal Adams. I didn't really look at it that way. I thought they were two different types of players, really. But one thing with Davis, he slowly got better on special teams. He had issues with tackling, with taking angles and things like that. And last year, his defensive time, his snaps really started to elevate. He was starting to earn the trust of Salah and Ulbrich, and you got to give him credit for that. That's what you like to see when you see these players who surprise you. Not everybody's going to be great from the beginning, but as you see them get better, you sort of have more of an attachment to them. And all of a sudden, 2 years ago, how many Jets fans would have wanted Ashton Davis back on this team? And now, all of a sudden, he became a player. Man, the Jets better keep this guy. Well, they have. He had 3 interceptions last year, despite barely playing. He'll give you good depth behind Tony Adams, who's going to be the starting free safety this year. And he's turned into one of the best special teams players in football. And now that the Jets have lost Justin Hardy to Cleveland, the Jets needed some people to come back, lead that unit. And along with Irv Charles and Kenny Yeboah, I think the Jets do have the core of still having a very good special teams unit. And that will be even more important than it's been in the last few years with the revised kickoff rules. Okay, so now let's talk for a moment about the uniforms. Yes, those were revealed. Everybody and their brother pretty much knew what they were going to look like. But earlier this week on the 15th, the Jets made them official. Now, here is my thing with these uniforms. And if you all have thoughts on which of the 5 combinations you like the most, put them down there in the comments, because I'm curious to get your opinion on this. Here's my first thought. I have learned, especially in the last year or two, there's a difference between liking the jersey, because as fans we buy jerseys, as opposed to liking the whole uniform set. Okay? Because my biggest concern about the uniforms, and it came to fruition, I was concerned the Jets, there was going to be nothing on the jersey that identified it as a New York Jet jersey. The logo, nothing. There's nothing there. You walk by, if you put one of these jerseys on and you just walk around and, not in New York, but if you just walk in pretty much any town in America, nobody's going to know what you're wearing. Is that the Eagles? Is that North Texas University? Is that Marshall? Is that Michigan State? What jersey is that? So to me, there's certain jerseys, you see them and you know exactly what they are right away. But the Jets, to me, don't have that. So that is probably the one disappointment that I have. But the combinations, when you factor in the helmet, the pants, the socks, the whole thing, the stripes on the side, fantastic. There isn't one single combination here that I don't like. I remember with the previous uniforms, with the green pants, typically I've liked white on green. In the previous years when the Jets were using the old logo before they changed it like 5 years ago, I thought that was a good look. I hated the white on green, those emerald green pants. Oh my gosh, they were horrific. They were horrific. But now they got a little bit of a darker green going on, and now I don't mind the green on green or the white on green so much. I do like that sort of like green stripe going up the white pants. I think that works really well, and I'm glad they are keeping the black look as well with the green stripe on the side. I think that looks really good as well. I know the Jets were asking, what combination should we wear week 1? I'm like, what time of day are you playing and who's your opponent? So I think we're a long way from figuring that out. But yes, definitely an upgrade, no doubt about it. And I'm glad they're bringing they're bringing that logo back. Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen, the Jets put on their website, it's about an 8 or 9 minute video of the graphic designer who designed the Jets logo in the late 70s. If you haven't seen that, check that out. It's a really, really cool watch. Where you get the idea of how the Jets logo came to be, how it came to be in his head, and even how he got the job to work at the Jets. This guy was a rock and roll singer. Had a few local hits on the West Coast and wound up working for the Jets as an office boy. Next thing you know, he's designing the Jets logo. So it's a pretty fascinating story when you really look at it. Okay, so I'm going to X out of that, and now I want to talk for a moment about the draft. Now, we've heard about a few of the players who will be attending. the draft in person starting next Thursday. So I'm just going to run through these names with you, and then we'll get into the top 30 list. So Terrion Arnold, cornerback, will be there. Jaden Daniels, quarterback, will be there. Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver. J.C. Latham, offensive tackle. Liatu Latu, the edge rusher. Drake May, the quarterback. Caleb Williams, the quarterback. Quinion Mitchell, quarterback. Two wide receivers the Jets may have a shot at. Malik Neighbors and Roma Dunze will be there. You've also got Darius Robinson, Dallas Turner, the edge rusher, and Brian Thomas, the wide receiver. So 4 wide receivers will be in attendance for the draft. That is what is known as of right now. Okay, so let's talk for a moment. Let's get into the main event of the show tonight. The lesser-known prospects who have had a top 30 visit with the Jets. So if the player's on this list, you know the Jets have some interest. You know, they have tickled that player has tickled the Jets' fancies a little bit, and they decided this is a player that we got to look into. This may be a player that we want to put in the green and white jersey next season and for the foreseeable future. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you all the names who have had the top 30 visits, and then we're going to break down the players who I feel like are not as well known, the players that Jets fans have not been talking about as much, and we're going to get to know them a little bit better. All right, so first with the quarterbacks, they have brought in 3 this far. Michael Pratt, and they are meeting with Michael Pratt every chance they can, whether it's the Senior Bowl, whether it's his pro day, whether they bring him into Florham Park. The Jets are doing everything they can to know who Michael Pratt is as well as they can. They've also brought in Jordan Travis from Florida State and Michael Hires from Samford. Now, if I have the asterisk next to the name, that means that is a player we're going to be profiling in just a couple of minutes. All right, so 3 quarterbacks have been brought in. No Spencer Rattler, who I think a lot of people are very interested in as well. No Joe Milton. Thought Joe Milton might be a player they would bring in, but they have not done that. Now, the wide receivers and the tight ends. Now, of course, Brock Bowers is one of them, and that is the only tight end that they brought in, and in my mind, about the only tight end worth a top 30 visit. But they brought in a very big list of wide receivers, namely Roma Dunze and Malik Neighbors, Brendan Rice from USC. We've talked about him before. Troy Franklin. They got some love for Troy Franklin. Malachi Corley from Western Kentucky. I'm very glad that he's on the list. The Yak God. Roman Wilson from the University of Michigan. That's a player I'm liking the more I watch him. I got to say, I'm getting more and more. I could see him as a Jet the more I think about it. Devontae Walker from the University of North Carolina has had a visit there as well. And Tejuan Palmer. So that is another wide receiver, and we're going to be talking about him in a little bit. So the point of this is over 25%. They've got, 9 visits. Nearly a third of their top 30 visits are devoted to receivers, wide receivers, and tight ends. So this gives you an idea of where the Jets are really focused on as we head into the 2024 draft. On to the offensive lineman, definitely another position of need. Jets have brought in 6 for a top 30 visit. There was Joe Alt. The Jets should only be so fortunate to get him. They like Latham, so they brought in J.C. Latham. Troy Fatanu, a name that's rising up the board, sort of the Swiss Army knife. So I'm a little bit concerned that, he is a little bit older and he didn't become a starter until recently, but definitely you love his versatility and you love his demeanor. Jordan Morgan from Arizona. Kieran Amagaji from Yale. He has been visiting as well. We've talked about all those guys on the previous offensive tackle show. And Giovanni Manu. Did anybody know who Giovanni Manu was outside of Dom C? Raise your hand. We'll get into his story. It's quite a story that Gio has. All right, on to the defense. So with the defensive line, we've got 7 players. This is defensive tackle and defensive end. Chop Robinson, widely expected to go in the first round. We've got Marshawn Nealon from Western Michigan. We're going to talk about him. Muhammad Kamara. We've talked about him before, and the Jets seem to be very interested in him, and I'm very glad to see that. Javante John Baptiste from Notre Dame, another defensive end. So these first 4 guys are all defensive ends. And then after that, we've got 3 defensive tackles in Mason Smith. To me, is really a boomer bust type of player. I don't know what to really think of him. I think it's one of those situations where if he winds up in the right situation, he could be very good. Christian Boyd, we've talked about him as a sleeper, and I think a lot more teams are starting to pay attention to him. Very, very capable run stopper. And then you have Justin Rogers from Auburn. We're going to talk about him. So we're going to talk about several of these defensive linemen tonight. Now we're going to go to the back 7. So I'm including linebackers and defensive backs. And as you look at this list, you'll recognize a couple of the names. Now, the only linebacker that the Jets have brought in for a top 30 visit is Nathaniel Watson from Mississippi State. I think linebacker is a position where they could use maybe a young player in the pipeline. We love Quincy. He's 28. CJ, obviously he's in his 30s at this point. You wonder about Jamian Sherwood if he's, much more than a special teams player. And Zaire Barnes, they did draft him last year, but what do they really think of him? So maybe at some point they do go after a linebacker, but they've only brought in one for a top 30 visit. And then in the secondary, we've got Max Melton from Rutgers, Quantez Stiggers. If you were here with us last week, we talked quite a bit about Quantez Stiggers, who has been playing for the Toronto Argonauts as of late, but attracting a whole lot of attention from NFL teams. Looks like he is going to be a very, very intriguing prospect. All right, then we got Micah Abraham. And then we got Jaden Hicks. I think I've seen Jaden Hicks mocked to the Jets as much as any player once you get past the first round. A lot of people look at his versatility, and they just think that'd be a perfect fit with the Jets. So I'm starting to really think that Jaden Hicks, if he makes it to the Jets in the 3rd round, they might jump on it. If he was to get to the 4th round, Jets would absolutely take him, in my opinion. And also Evan Williams, another safety. We're going to talk about him too. Papa Yete, how are you tonight? Thank you so much for stopping by, my friend. I appreciate it very, very much. So as we look at this list, a couple of things that I noticed. No running backs. So the Jets right now, it's Breece, it's Izzy. At some point, they're going to have to bring in a 3rd running back, and I'm not thinking about Xavier Holiday. I'm not thinking that that's going to happen, but they did not bring in any running backs for a top 30 visit. Very interesting. No tight ends besides Brock Bowers. Only 2 safeties, and to me, the Jets are going to have to draft a safety at some point in this draft. They have only brought in 2, and I don't think it's too surprising that wide receiver and offensive line are the biggest positions that they've targeted. And and defensive line, offensive line and defensive line. So those are some thoughts. So that is who the Jets have brought in for their top 30 visits. Now, let's get a little bit more granular, guys. We are going to dig in, and we are going to get to know some of these lesser-known top 30 players. So we got 9 that we're going to look at tonight. And the first one is Michael Hyers, the quarterback from Samford. I got to be honest, I had never heard this guy's name until I saw him on the list. So I try to get a read for him. There aren't really many scouting reports out there about him. Not a lot of highlight clips either, unless you're a big Samford fan. I don't know. But he's 6'1", 215 pounds. In 2023, he completed 314 of 436 passes, 18 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 3,056 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 140.8. Pretty good numbers, maybe a few more turnovers than you would like, but was able to get the ball down the field and definitely able to enable Samford to score some points. Now, he does have a good arm. I was watching some of the deep passes, and he can make the throws into some tight windows. He could throw the ball from multiple angles. That was one thing I really like. He has that good improvisational sixth sense that you like to have from a quarterback. He's known for his leadership, seems to be very popular with his teammates. And one thing with Samford, and I think this is important, they really played that pro-style offense. There's too many times when a player comes out of, say, Baylor. I'm not referring to Denzel Mims, the wide receiver, by name, but you hear about some of these players not being pro-ready. That is not a concern with Michael Hyers. And, hey, he led Samford to a 10-1 record. The only loss they had was to Georgia. So pretty good. Now, the cons would be lack of competition. I mean, it's Samford, and he doesn't have the ideal quarterback size you would like at 6'1", and supposedly he's not the most elusive quarterback. He doesn't have the quickest feet ever. So I did find an interview that Hires gave to a news outlet. And one of the questions that they asked him was, if you could compare your play to one player in the NFL, who would it be? And Michael Hires said, the player I would compare myself to is Gardner Minshew. You know, the quarterback that a lot of Jets fans have been trying to get here for a while as their backup. Well, here, you got a young Gardner Minshew just waiting in the wings. So, hey, you know, maybe Michael Hires would be a target for the Jets. I don't think he's going, if he does get drafted, it's going to be very, very late. Because, again, you're looking for players that you might want to draft with one of those last two spots, being that the Jets are drafting late in the 7th. But I think more likely than not, he does not get drafted. And then we'll see who is going to try to sign him. All right. I think Hires is sort of a backup plan if things like Michael Pratt fall through. All right, so Michael Hires is one. Number 2 is going to be Tajuan Palmer from the University of Alabama at Birmingham. Now, this wide receiver is 6'2", 210 pounds. 2023, he had 47 catches, 858 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Pretty good. Now, his RAS score, that relative athletic score, is 9.57 out of 10. So this guy, he's got some athleticism about him. He's got straight line speed. He's not a burner. He doesn't have that extra second acceleration sort of a gear. You know, when you watch him play, it doesn't look like he's really running super fast, but the next thing you know, he's got 20 or 30 yards. He's just got those easy, powerful strides is what he has. He's willing to block. He can do that when he needs to. He can make contested catches here and there. But what I like is that he has that good ability to sort of turn the ball upfield, kind of like with running backs like Dylan Lobby that we talked about, who went to New Hampshire, I believe. Palmer's the same type of player where he could take the ball and turn upfield quickly, and it requires multiple defenders usually to tackle him. So he is very good at getting yards after the catch, and that's because he has solid speed and just pretty good agility. The issues with him are these. He struggles to separate. I mentioned he doesn't have that extra second gear, that extra acceleration. That could be a problem for him in the NFL. All right. He's also prone to some drops, always an issue. And with the route running, he needs to run those routes a little clearer. He doesn't create the amount of space you desire. So sometimes he has to resort to adjusting to the pass a little bit more. So yeah, the fact that if he could get like a little bit of an extra gear, I think he would be maybe a mid-round pick. I think as of right now, he's going to go in the 7th round. So Tajuan Palmer. So that is that's the second player. Now this next guy, this guy's got an interesting story. This is Giovanni Manu, and that is not a misprint. Your eyes are not deceiving you. He most recently played at the University of British Columbia. Not making this up. So Gio is Tongan, and several teams have already met with him. Arizona, Denver, Kansas City, New England, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, as well as the Jets. This guy, this is a beast. 6'7", 352 pounds. He's got these huge arms, 35.5-inch arms. That's in the 89th percentile of all offensive tackles. And at his pro day, he ran a 4.96 40-yard dash. Not too bad. Now his team, the British Columbia Thunderbirds, this past year, finished first in passing yards, second in rushing yards, and Manu is one of the main driving forces that allowed the offense to perform so well. He earned all Canadian team honors. And to give you some numbers on him, last year, 502 offensive snaps, 212 passing snaps of the 502. On those 212 snaps, he allowed 5 pressures and 2 sacks. Pretty good. Now, this guy's just a mauler. He runs people over, all right? So he may as well be working at IHOP because that man is serving some pancakes. Very aggressive at run blocking. Quick feet for his size. That was one thing I did like. Despite his enormous size, he can move his feet quickly, and he's able to keep good balance. All right, we've got the great Harlan Abraham. Good to see you here tonight, my friend. Thank you so much for stopping by tonight as we're talking about some of the players the Jets have drafted with their top 30 visits, and we're talking about some of those players who are a little bit more under the radar. All right, so Gio Manu also got a pretty strong first punch. Now, the thing with him, he needs a lot of refining, okay? He struggles with handling stunts, okay? He needs some coaching. I think the biggest concern I've got, he needs some coaching on how to handle those speed to power pass rushes. Basically, if you have a good counter move, you can beat him. All right. Too often he gets his feet caught like he's crossing his feet over. He has quick feet, but he doesn't know how to use them. All right. So he has to refine that a whole lot better. And so when he tries to reset, his large size goes against him, and next thing you know, he's beat. So this is a situation where you really want a good offensive line coach. Yeah, God knows the Jets have one of those in Keith Carter. But a lot of people think he's more suited to play right tackle, but could play guard if needed. And when I was looking at player comparisons, the name that I actually saw come up, and Jets fans, I know this is going to hurt a little bit, but the player comparison I saw when you look at the set of skills is Mekhi Becton. Like a poor man's Mekhi Becton. And he is projected to go, I would say, maybe in the seventh round as well. Now, not all of the players we're going to talk about are going to be picked at the end of the draft. And as a matter of fact, now we're going to switch over to the defensive side of the football, and we're going to talk about Marshawn Kneeland. Now, this is a guy who's getting a little bit more attention around the league. 6'3", 275 pounds, and at Western Michigan last year, recorded 57 tackles, 4.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. He used to be a tight end in high school as well. All right. Now, the thing with Kneeland, he could play all 3 downs. He's a multi-gap disruptor, got a ton of upside. He's got a very quick first step off the line. I really like seeing how quickly he could get off the line of scrimmage. A relentless disruptor. He's going to work from snap to whistle. Excellent on the run defense, and he can win pretty much everywhere from, whether he's playing on the edge, where he's playing, right over a tackle. He can win in many, many different situations. His initial contact, very good. He's got those heavy hands. He makes that first hit count, and he's got a really nice spin move, and that allows him to get away from blockers who are trying to slow him down. The issues with him, he plays so hard and plays so aggressively that sometimes he is prone to missing a tackle in the backfield. So he has to learn to control himself at times, has to learn to harness himself. And he can struggle to sort of hold the point when he's playing with his hand down in the dirt. And he's got some room for improvement with, controlling tight ends and things like that. I think a lot of teams are looking at him as a 4-3 base end, but he seems to be more capable as a stand-up edge rusher. I think he might be better suited for a 3-4 alignment. But hey, the Jets have brought him in. Clearly, they see some potential in him. So let's see what winds up happening. But the thing with Kneeland, he's just at his best when he's playing in space rather than, fist fighting right at the point of attack and, competing for space in the phone booth, as they say. But I think Kneeland's going to go early. I think he goes in the 3rd round. I don't expect him to get out of day 2. All right, so Marshawn Kneeland, that's probably the highest rated prospect that I've got on this list. Now, the next player we're going to talk about, another defensive end. It is Javonte Jean-Baptiste from Notre Dame University. Now, JJB is 6'4", 245 pounds. Last year recorded 49 total tackles and 5 sacks. Great relative athletic score, a 9.22 RAS. He has excellent length and a great body and frame to play edge in the NFL. Very good instincts to get to the football. He hustles behind the play to make an impact. He sets the edge very well. He's very, very powerful. So if you're looking for one of those defensive ends that can also play really good run defense, then that is the type of player you would be looking for. As far as the pass rushing, it's pretty good. He has long arms. He tends to play bigger than he's listed. Could use a little bit of technique, learn some additional moves, could improve his, or not improve, but expand his arsenal. But JJB is a pretty good piece to bring in. The issues are he needs to add more weight. Okay, at 245 pounds, that is just not going to do it in the NFL. Especially if he's going to play the strong side, and that's where he played at his best at Notre Dame. He's got to get a little more explosive, got to get a little bit quick, and he's not overly physical on the when he plays on the edge, and I think that's because he doesn't have the strength just yet. The other issue is his age. He's turning 24 years old very soon, and he's already played 6 years in college. I think the age and the size are going to turn some teams off. I think he's going to be an undrafted free agent, but somebody will definitely bring him in for a tryout. Okay, so yeah, JJB, you got some very good pros here, but some of the cons, I don't know. I mean, if he adds too much weight, how much is that going to slow him down? But I think he's got to add at least 15, 20 pounds for sure. All right, now on the inside of the defensive line, we've got Justin Rogers from Auburn University. Justin Rogers, 6'2", 330 pounds. In 2023, had 17 tackles and 1 sack. Not very impressive numbers. Now, his pros are, this is your pure nose tackle. He's got a very, very low base of gravity. He plays with a terrific anchor so he can, knock off any blocks, and he can stay on his feet very, very well. I like watching him hit. He is a violent, violent hitter, especially when running backs get into his gaps. He may not be chasing them down on the outside. That's not going to happen. But if somebody gets near him, he usually gets his hands on them and he can take them down. Okay, and so great upper body power. He can blow up single tackles. The issue is he's not very athletic at that size. If the quarterback is not at the line of scrimmage, he's not going to get a pass rush. Basically the defensive ends have to force the quarterback forward into the line, and then Rodgers can make the play for you. And despite his size, he has sort of a limited wingspan, and that kind of limits his ability to tackle from his position at the point of attack. So this is a bit of a one-trick pony, but a necessary trick in the NFL. It's going to be a depth interior defensive lineman who can align as a nose tackle or a 5 technique. So I would count on Rodgers being a 7th-round pick in all likelihood. But I do expect him to get drafted. All right, now let's talk about the one linebacker that the Jets have brought in for a top 30 visit. And it's Nathaniel Watson from Mississippi State. So Watson, I got to say, I like watching his tape, watching his highlights. He really jumps off the screen. 6'2", 245 pounds. So so that's actually, if I remember correctly, that's about the same size as Javonte Jean-Baptiste, ironically. But that aside. But so Watson in 2023, check out this production: 137 total tackles, 10 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and an interception. Now, he's a 6-year senior, so he's got a lot of college football under his belt. This is a super productive off-ball linebacker. You're not going to really put him in the middle. You want him on the outside. All right, he's got good length, 33-inch arms, very good in zone coverage. Okay, he knows how to read a quarterback, where to line up, where to move. He's very aware of running backs and wide receivers who enter his area. And he's got very heavy hands. That's what allows him to get separation. Also, very, very good football instincts, especially in coverage. He reads the quarterback's eyes, and he can float the ball pretty easily. All right, it's got just really, really a good first step as well. So, yeah, I really do like Watson. As far as the issues with him and why he's projected a little bit lower, he doesn't have quite the level of strength you would want to take on blockers. So this is not a linebacker who's just going to come right downhill and go for the tackle on a running back. Okay, so that is one thing. And he doesn't change direction very easily. He has these tight hips. Maybe he needs to do some DDP yoga. I don't know. But, yeah, definitely got to open up those hips a little bit. This is a player who really needs the free space in order to be effective. So you'd probably make him sort of like a will linebacker on the weak side, away from the tight end. I think that's kind of the idea for Nathaniel Watson. But I think he can be a very, very productive player. Coach just has to know how to use him right. And you might say, well, coach always got to know how to use a player right. You know what? There's some players, they're just going to be good no matter what situation they're in. Watson, I think, is a little more scheme specific. But I think there's enough upside where he could go in the 6th round. Swig of water for the working man and woman. HG likes the shout out for the DDP yoga. Nice. No problem, man. Yeah. I still have the DVDs. The app I had for a little bit, but I got too many issues with the heart monitor. It's just it wouldn't work, and I got annoyed. But I still have the DVDs, and I still do quite a few of the moves from it. So, the great Elon is here. Yep, Kimberly was maybe one of the most naturally beautiful women ever in pro wrestling. She's still beautiful today, no question about it. So, and Hulk it up. Next week we'll do 30 minutes of DDP yoga together. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's but I definitely recommend it if somebody's trying to get obviously they're not sponsoring us, but yeah, I definitely recommend checking out DDP yoga. For sure. Okay, let's move on to the secondary. We're going to talk about Micah Abraham from Marshall University. I have him on the list for two reasons. Number one, Chad Pennington is my guy. And number two, I wanted to get this color green on the screen tonight. No, that's not quite it. But Micah Abraham, 5'11", 185 pounds. So, yes, he's not the biggest cornerback you're going to see. But in 2023, 36 tackles, 4 interceptions. He has had, I'm going to give you some stats on this guy. Double-digit pass breakups each of the last 3 years. He had 14 in 2021, 10 in 2022, and 15 in 2023, plus 11 interceptions over those 3 years. This guy has been consistently productive for the last 3 years. You know he can cover well just based off those numbers alone, right? But Micah Abraham is a former track athlete, really good speed, runs a 4.53 40-yard dash. And so he's got the speed to run hip to hip with most receivers downfield. Can play zone, can play man-to-man, whatever you want him to do. And here's the other thing that I like about him. He plays well in big games. Okay, so in 2022, when Marshall upset Notre Dame, who was ranked number 8 in the country at the time, he had a pass breakup, an interception, and even had half a sack. So Abraham has a way of stepping up in the big moments. Now, obviously, I told you he was 5'11". He's 185 pounds, not the biggest guy. And his physicality, he's not the most physical player, which you can understand. But sometimes if he doesn't shed the block, which isn't going to be often, he gets taken out of the play. And his tackling ability in open space, it's pretty good, but it does struggle a little bit to wrap and finish tackles. So this is another one of those situations. Can he put just a little bit of size on without sacrificing his speed? Okay, so I think Micah Abraham is a very intriguing prospect. I think right now he could play in sort of a cover 3 style of defense. Okay. Oh, my God. Oh, Angie Harmon. Man, you and I are fighting over the same women, man. Man, yeah, I remember her going all the way back to Baywatch Nights. Yep, no doubt about it. Yeah, I always thought she was like not only really beautiful but approachable. It's when you get to when you have somebody who's also very approachable and isn't full of themselves, that just ups the attractive level for me. No doubt about it. NY Flight Jets Talk. Hey, welcome to the show tonight. Glad you are here. And if I could tell, it looks like the green in the logo kind of matches the Marshall green as well. But I am very, very glad that you're taking some time to hang with us tonight. So here's the other thing with Micah. I think you can play cover 3 now. If you want to play cover 1 or cover 2, that's going to happen sort of down the line. Okay, I think he's going to go in the 7th round. Maybe a team would take a chance on him late in the 6th, but I think you have a really, really talented athlete that can become a bit of a sleeper, and maybe in a year he could play a pretty big part in your secondary. David D. Now, they divorced a long time ago. I remember he proposed on the Tonight Show, but yeah, they divorced, and to my knowledge, I don't think she ever got married again. So, hey, you never know. Yeah. And David, I know you're an Islander fan. I mentioned at the top of the show, I'll be doing 3 separate hockey videos over the next couple of days. One about Rangers Capitals, one about Islanders Hurricanes, and one about Artemi Panarin in the playoffs. So definitely you'll want to check out the Islanders Hurricanes preview. That I'll probably get those. I'll probably get those videos up by Friday. Definitely by Friday. Hopefully tomorrow night, but definitely by Friday morning. Okay, and then we've got one more player to look at tonight, and it's the safety, Evan Williams. Wait a minute. No, not that Evan Williams. No, I didn't mean that Evan Williams over there on the left. No. Not Evan Williams, the Kentucky Bourbon. I meant that Evan Williams. Let's go back to that one anyway. All right, Evan Williams. So Evan Williams, pardon the horrible joke, 6 foot, 205 pounds. In 2023, had 82 tackles, 4.5 sacks, and 2 fumble recoveries. This is a player who is like a battering ram. It's like, if you if you're shooting archery and you have the bow and all of a sudden you let go and the bow just flies, it's like every time the whistle blows, it's like Evan Williams is just and he just is just shot out of a cannon. He plays with the mindset of a linebacker, and he diagnoses plays very well. He's a really good run defender. That's the kind of safety that we're looking at here. He gets downhill quickly. He makes hits on pass catchers. He's really at his best on, those quick hitting routes. With like an underneath pass, a screen pass, Williams can figure it out and get to the ball carrier and take him right down and scream and pump his fist as he does it. All right. He's a very rough style of player, so I think he's going to have a very, very big role on special teams in the NFL at the very least. I don't know if he's going to be a great safety in the NFL, but I can tell you he's going to make a special teams coach very, very happy. Now, the issues are he lacks the long speed to close distance over the top. He's got a very good burst, very, very quick, but he's not going to be able to maintain the speed for, 20, 30 yards down the field all that much. And since he is so aggressive, he's also prone to missing tackles once in a while. All right, too often he fails to break down before engaging the ball carrier. He lacks the strength to bring down those bigger running backs one-on-one because, like we said, he's 6 foot, 205 pounds. But when you look at him, he looks even smaller than that. He just plays bigger. He's got that, that Godzilla complex where he thinks he's 6'5", 270. Okay. Also, he has to learn to take better angles at times to the football, and that will help him help prevent him from missing so many tackles. I'm looking at him as a box safety. He's got a good feel for finding entry points and making tackles near the line of scrimmage. I think he goes in the 6th round. I think he is a pretty useful player, and I feel pretty optimistic about that. Williams will have a productive role in the NFL. Angie Harmon was involved in a crazy incident in Charlotte a few weeks ago. Her dog was killed by an Instacart driver delivering groceries. Oh my gosh. That's horrible. That's horrible. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of Instacart anyway, because I deliver for Shipped on the side. My competitors, but oh gosh, to lose losing a pet is brutal, but to lose it so suddenly, it's even worse. Man. I'm very, very sorry to hear that. All right, well, that is it for the top 30 list that the Jets players have brought in. I think also next week we're going to, by the way, I want to let you know, put an open invitation out to several people, to several content creators. So I want to get somebody else's perspective next week, so we will see who joins us. We will rank the draft position groups from 11 to 1. Next week, we'll be doing that too. And and we'll just have some of our friends on, and we'll see what they have to say. All right. So I'll tell you what. I know it's only 10:52. It's a little bit early, but if everybody doesn't mind, I think we could just get an early start right now. I think that way we might have a little bit more time to do a mock draft or two. So, you know what I do. Every single week, I head down into the labyrinth, into my basement. I bust open the books. I open up the websites. And I go through page after page, number after number, stat after stat, record after record, and I come up with a question to challenge you, the knowledgeable Jets fan, about the history of this franchise. So, if you dare, let us play Jets Trivia. All right. And Elon also says, as far as rounds 5, 6, and 7, all I want is no CFL players. So that means you don't want Quantez Stiggers because, that's a player they brought in on that top 30 visit. We talked a lot about him last week, and there's a lot of teams who want Quantez Stiggers. He's going to get drafted. I'm very confident. And I got to tell you, he looks like a very capable player. And by the way, you cannot be knocking Zach Kuntz here. We're in the Norfolk area. You can't be knocking Kuntz from ODU. But again, if you have the ability, sometimes you can teach him football. But again, it's a 7th round pick. I'm not getting upset over a 7th round pick not working out. And again, I'll give any draft pick 1 year. Any draft pick gets a year, but year 2, let's start seeing some improvement. So that is my thought as far as that goes. All right, so let's take a look at the question for tonight. Now, as you know the rules, we are going to give you 5 minutes to answer the question. I'm going to put the question on the board, and we're going to start the clock. And this time of year, of course, the question is Jets draft. It's related to the Jets draft history. So let's put the question on the screen right now. Name the two players on the 2010 Jets roster who played college football at the University of Massachusetts. Time has started. All right, guys. So if you think you know the answer, if you think you know one of the answers, then you know what to do. Throw it right down there in the comments. I know, man. I can't do the music anymore. I'll try to find some new music that where I won't potentially get in any kind of trouble. But I can't be risking that anymore. I don't want any more copyright violations. I really don't. I thought I was doing everything right, but what are you gonna do? Hank G says Antonio Cromartie. Is it? Oh, there we go. Is it Antonio Cromartie? I'm afraid not. No. You think Wickerman went to school there? I went to school in the state of Massachusetts, but I did not go to the University of Massachusetts. Went to a little private college up on the North Shore. Near Gloucester, near Rockport, near Swampscott, near Lynn, the city of Sin. So, up on the North Shore of Boston off Route 1, near Salem, the Witch City, wasn't too far from there. In fact, I was back there last October. But yeah, UMass is in the western part of the state, as I remember. I've never been to that campus, nor do I have any desire to go to that campus. All right, two players who play college football at UMass. One, I can tell you this, one was drafted by the Jets. One was a Jets draft pick. So 2010, we know the year. That year they went to the AFC Championship game. Yeah, he went to like Breed U or something like that. That's where Cromartie went. All right, we're about 2 minutes down. Getting a quick check on the basketball game. Bulls at halftime lead the Hawks 73-67. Wow, that's a lot of points for the first half. David D says Mike DeVito. I'm afraid it's not Mike DeVito. You got the right region, but Mike DeVito went to Maine, not Massachusetts. Good try. One played offense, one played defense. We'll say defense, but defense/special teams. I want to narrow this down a little bit for you. David D says Alan Faneca. No, it was not Alan Faneca. Harlan Abraham says Vladimir Dukas. Is it Vladimir Dukas? It sure is. Vlad Dukas was drafted from the University of Massachusetts. Big Vlad, winner of the Big Ugly contest. All right, so good guess with Big Vlad. Now, how about the other player? All right. Okay, Papayete says it may have been Marcus Coleman on the defense. It's always Marcus. The two answers, I'm always guaranteed to get one of the two every week. Marcus Coleman and Lee Cravat, right? Yeah. You got to give him credit. He hung around the league a lot longer than I think any of us would have expected. You got to give the guy a little bit of credit. It hurts to, but he did stick around for a minute. Okay. The other player, how do I say this? He was a defense/special teams kind of player. By the way, Cromartie went to Florida State, and Alan Faneca was no longer on the Jets as of 2010. He had left by then. I'm not sure what other clues I can give you. Other than this guy, he played defense, played special teams. He kind of drifted his way around the league a little bit. Yeah, he played with this guy. He started his career with the Jets, was with the Jets for 3 years, and kind of went around the league a little bit. Played for 5 teams in like 8 years. But if I mention the name, I think you'll know it. I know, yeah, yeah. This one's a little bit tough, but yeah, I think this guy was a little bit of a fan favorite. He had a little bit of a following. He just didn't stay around as long as we would have liked. He also played for the Patriots. He played for the Ravens, if that helps. All right, the clock went off, so the 5 minutes have expired. Elon, yep, we said Vlad Dukas. Yeah, that's right. All right. Yeah, I don't think he had any particular like highlight plays with the Jets. This particular guy, but David D says Danny Woodhead. No, one would. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the answer. It was James Ehedegbo. I remember Ehedegbo was a really pretty hard hitter on special teams. Played safety a little bit. So those were the two answers: Vlad Dukas and James Ehedegbo, who actually is from Northampton, Massachusetts. He's a Massachusetts native, and he left the Jets to go to the Patriots after the 2010 season, and then sort of floated around the league for the next couple of years. So, but he did play in the NFL for 8 years. The first 3 were with the New York Football Jets. Scott Foster is here. Says, "Good evening, Jet. Good evening, gents. Good to see you as well, my friend." Yeah. I don't know. I remember that initially he had like a couple of penalties, and like WFAN was like making fun of him. Like they'd make fun of his name. They call him like Ingabagabugu and things like that. But then he got better and better as time went on. So, all right, guys. Well, I think that's it for the trivia tonight. So I'll tell you what. We've only got about 2 weeks left to do this, so I think we need to do a mock draft tonight, right? Yeah, I think it's only right. So let's move this out of the way. Elon, I didn't know you were an Atlanta Hawks fan. Yeah, down 2 starters. That's not good. All right, well, yeah, they don't win tonight. Yeah, this is the end of the line. So let's see what winds up happening. All right. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Let's do what we did last week. Let's do the 2 mock drafts. We'll do the first one the regular way, and then we'll do one with the wheel. I've got the wheel ready to go for you as well. Reminder, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Who played in the 1971 Boardwalk Bowl? I don't know. Atlantic City, New Jersey, and Ocean City, Maryland. How about that? They both got some good boardwalks. Out of the sun, under the boardwalk. Anyway, boardwalk. All right. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go ahead and share the screen if I can. All right, so that should pop up. Want to make sure everything is here on screen as it should be. Just takes a minute for everything to show up on the cell phone. All right, I think we got everything the way that we want. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Yeah, let's zoom in a little bit here for you. I want to make sure you can see everything. All right, that should be pretty good. And I'll tell you what, guys, just think about where we were last week compared to where we are this week. All the players that we've researched, all the players that we've gotten to know, and now it's like we see these names go through. It's like, oh, I know that guy. I know that guy. I know that guy. Together, we've come a long way over 2 months, haven't we? So I'm pretty excited about that. UMass and UC Davis. Oh, isn't that where Ken O'Brien went to school? I'm pretty sure that's where he went. You know what? Actually, let's see what we could do here. Let's see what we can do. We're going to hold off for just a minute because I think we might have a special guest. All right, so I got to get back here. All right, guys, just give me about 15, 20 seconds here. All right, I got to stop sharing for just 1 second. Oh, man. Anybody else tired of seeing like the same mock drafts over and over again at this point? It's just like every week it's like Brock Bowers, Brock Bowers, Brock Bowers, Brock Bowers. It's like can't take much more. Everything is about Brock Bowers. Hey Dano, how you doing, man? Papa Yeti, yes, Marcus Camby did go to UMass. Oh yeah, he definitely did. Yeah, it was in the '96 Final Four with was it Syracuse, Kentucky, and Mississippi State in East Rutherford, New Jersey, as I remember. Yeah, yeah. And then, oh yeah, didn't they take that Final Four away from Massachusetts? I'm pretty sure, which is just hogwash. I hate when like they take these championships and these appearances away from these guys. It just sucks. I just I don't know. I'm just very down on that. Like they took away the Fab Five, their appearances, Michigan from the Final Four. Hate that. All right, well, I'll tell you what. We're going to do some drafts right now, and we are going to start off by adding somebody moderately special to the chat. He is a man of opportunity, a man of passion, a man of dedication, and a man of insane Jet fandom, the one and the only Nick Shaw!
But that guy that you just described couldn't make it, so I'm here. What's going on, pal?
Well, you know, when Tigo's not available. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, I'm out on that note. That's just too offensive. That's mean-spirited.
Well, if I said Dom, would have been like, yeah, I agree.
What's up, everybody?
All right. Yeah, so...
did you do trivia? If you have the mock-up.
Yeah, we did trivia just a little bit early tonight, like 10 minutes early. So.
Damn it. I saw the clock. I had it's like, all right, everyone go. I'm like, go over to Adam's show, and I clicked in. I saw you doing the mock.
Yeah, I actually went a little bit faster than I thought I was going to. I mean, with the content, I thought it would last longer. There you go.
That's what she said. Layout.
Very good.
Hit me with it. What do you got? What's the question?
The trivia question. Okay, the trivia question was name the only Jets from the 2010 roster that played college football at the University of Massachusetts. The chat got one correct.
Vlad Duclos was Massachusetts.
That was the one they got.
Vlad, Massachusetts, 2010. Huh. (2010). I don't know. I'm going to say, did Doug Bryan? No, that wasn't Doug Bryan at kicker that year. Was that Mike Nugent? No, he was Ohio State. I'm trying to think like it's a specials guy that like nobody would think of.
Yeah, so 2010, that was the year that was the last time we were in the playoffs. So that was Rex Sanchez when we went to Pittsburgh and beat New England.
I don't know. I don't want to hold up the mock. Who's the other one?
Well, you were on the right path when you were talking about specials that nobody knows. Actually, let me see if I can do this. Let me see if I can pull this up. Name the two 2010 Jets who played college football at UMass. All right, Dane. So there you go. And the answers were Vlad Duclos and
second round nonsense.
James Ahedebo.
Oh, you love him. You just mentioned him last week. That's probably what got you to that question. You just talked about him last week.
You know what? I actually had that question pretty much ready to go for weeks. I've had that question ready to go for a while now. I got so many questions saved up. I got to start thinking of some more because all of a sudden I'm running out of them faster than I'm coming up with them. So
yeah, you dig deep. You're very good with going down that rabbit hole and finding not a popular question.
It'd be very
common question. You're very good with creating the questions that other people haven't seen.
Yeah, I really try. Maybe one day I'll be able to help write the next great Jets trivia book. You never know. Let's see here. Oh, why? I think no.
So we did while you're doing that, we did
Go ahead.
a mock on the channel with the chat voting, and we just did 1 through 10, and we ended up with Rome Odunze at 10. It went Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Marvin Harrison, Neighbors, J.J. McCarthy to the Giants, Alt to the Titans, Dallas Turner to the Falcons, the Colts trading up to 9 with the Bears to take Bowers, and then that landed us Odunze.
Okay, I'm good. Yeah, hey, if it was Odunze at 10, I'd be happy with that.
Very.
I'd be
I'm team
good.
weapon. As long as we get a guy to help open up this offense.
All right. The one thing is, when I pulled the trivia up, it suddenly made it a lot more difficult for me to pull up the chat. So I have to kind of mess with this a little bit. All right, let me see what I can do. I may have to go to the entire screen, which is not the way I want to do it. Otherwise, but the only other option I have is to basically refresh the whole thing, which I don't want to do. All right, I'm going to hit allow and hope this works.
See, every time Dane tries to produce the goddamn show from his house, this is what happens.
All right,
he's a visual learner. Oh, you can't share just the tab?
I was able to be honest with you, I was able to before, and now that I put the trivia up, now it's not letting me do it.
Weird.
I know the whole thing is
such a
is
fucking
there
prima
now.
donna, Dane. He's such a prima donna. He's got a. He won't return a text, but he'll give you 75 different instructions from the chat. He should change his name to director.
Say again?
He should change his YouTube name to director.
Okay, there you go.
Poppy Eddie, get my stupid comment down. Nope. All the jokes that you make, your comment shall stay up in stupidity for the end of time.
Oh boy! Oh, Elon's a big Cooper DeJean fan. Okay.
He's gonna be fun.
Yeah, he'll be somewhere in the first round, that's for sure, and it won't be to us.
He's gonna be fun to watch, man.
Yep, I would agree with that.
The guys who are picking in the teens and the early 20s are going to get very good defensive talent that normally shouldn't be there. You're going to maybe get somebody like Latu that falls to 20. You're going to get somebody maybe like Byron Murphy. You're going to get guys like DeJean and maybe Kool-Aid McKinstry who are still there in their early 20s. I'm curious to see if there's teams at the top of the draft who jump up into round one again to get defensive talent that starts to slide. You know, like maybe the Giants take J.J. McCarthy. They did it with Daniel Jones, right? And then they had Lawrence was the other first-round pick that year. I think 6 and 17. Somebody who they take J.J. McCarthy and they're like, all right, you know, we're going to jump and get player X, you know, DeJean, if he's there at 23 still. It'll be interesting. I can't wait.
Yeah, it will be. And, you know, every year is kind of piggybacks off what you were just talking about. Every year there's always some player who drops. It's going to be very interesting to see who that is and what position they play. Because this is going to be a very, very weird draft. Like, the draft is always unpredictable. There's always the trades that don't make sense, but that just come out of nowhere, really. But there's going to be like some player, like I'm not saying it's this guy, but a guy like a Kool-Aid McKinstry, that kind of a guy who it's like, we thought he was good, but we didn't know he was going to go this high. That kind of a situation, I think, is going to happen somewhere along the way. There will be one pick somewhere, I think, before the Jets, somewhere, that is just going to throw the draft right on its side, and nobody's going to see that one coming.
I'll make a bold prediction with that. If Dallas Turner goes 8 to Atlanta, somebody will jump to 9 for Verse or Latu the next D end. They're not going to take the chance, and I think the Bears could bump down. So 9 is a spot where I think the Bears could look to recoup something, some draft capital.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if I'm the Bears, I got no problem trading down a little bit. Yeah, no issue. I can still get a really good wide
receivers are gone. Bump out.
Yeah. I mean, you could get like a Brian Thomas in the middle of the first round on that level, and plenty of other guys after that. Plenty of guys. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's get the ball rolling right now. So we are going to enter the room.
You got to pull up Scott's latest comment. Raiders are usually good to screw up the draft.
Exactly. That's the exact team I was thinking of.
They're going to take another kicker in round 1.
Here's the difference. The Patriots do it too, but we don't find out till later the Patriots screwed it up. With the Raiders, we know immediately. Papa Yete, wait, Elon, how many college teams are you a fan of? He is a fan of whichever team Angie Harmon is supporting at the moment. All right, here we go. Let us.
I know. Bombshell back in the day. Good for Jason Sehorn.
For the time he had her. Okay,
Oh, they're not together anymore?
Oh, they divorced years ago, dude.
Bowers
Yeah.
is gone? Oh, no, he's there. Oh,
Wow.
Doomsday is gone. Damn.
Alt is there.
This is my scenario for the draft. Except Daniels 2, May 3. And I could see receivers going 4, 5, 6 and just shooting us right in the foot. On the foot with 5 toes.
4, 5, yeah, 6. Oh man, that's an interesting one.
7.
I just think with Harbaugh, I could see the Chargers getting a little bit weird. I don't know. Wide receiver makes all the sense in the world for them. They should be going wide receiver, but it's almost like everyone thinks like this is the way it absolutely is going to happen, which means it probably isn't going to happen that way. But hey, if 2 defensive players go 8, 9, sign me up for that. I'd be happy if 1 defensive player went in the top 9, let alone 2.
That's pretty cool. I just called that 2 seconds ago. Can you remove the comment so I can see the?
Oh,
Hey.
yeah, I gotta
Sorry,
go.
I'm wearing my Dane hat right now and just producing. What did I just say? Two edges, right? If one edge goes at 8, the other one going at 9. I guess your mock heard me.
Which means we need to restart it. No, we don't. I mean, if this was the actual, we'll take a look at trade offers. I mean, there's 3 trade offers, and you know that these teams are all probably going to try to take Joe Alt, maybe McCarthy, but most likely Alt. All right, so Minnesota wants us to trade down 1 pick and get a 3rd round pick next year. Now, if this was real life, man, I wouldn't mind it if it was any prospect other than Joe Alt.
In real life, yeah, because if it's Alt and Bowers, you can move back a spot and still get one of them, right?
Oh yeah, you absolutely could.
Screw them.
I thought so. This pick is interesting. This is a very interesting trade. So the Saints want us to go down 4 spots from 10 to 14. They will give us a 2nd round pick, but they want us to trade 111. My personal thought is I'd be willing to counter it, but I would counter it, but I would make it like almost to the point where I don't think that I'm almost daring them to accept it. Because 1 spot, yes, but it would take a really good trade for me to pass on Joe Alt because, as Mike Francesa said, if the Jets pass on Joe Alt, they should be shot. Okay.
Well, I hope that it's Mike Francesa doing suicide, and then Joe Douglas is standing behind him, and maybe.
I knew Alt was going to be a good tackle. I've watched him since he was growing up. Okay.
I drink too much Coca-Cola. Yeah, I hate him. He's awful.
All right, so
the ego's too big. Can't retire and stay there. Had to find 17 different ways to come back.
We got the app, and it's going to have the video on it, okay? And I will see everybody down there at Bar A. And but first, I got to go to Saratoga because I got the horses. I'm not going to talk hockey. I'm not going to talk any other sports, but we got to talk horses because Saratoga is the most wonderful place on earth, other than my kitchen, because that's where the food is, okay?
That's a very good info. That's good.
When your voice is tired, it's actually easier to do a better mic. It really is.
You just have to sound like a disinterested pile of shit.
Al Albuquerque is not a real pitcher.
I'm not going to
Al Albuquerque. All right. Even though the trades are pretty good, I don't know. I don't think we could do anything but take Joe Alt. I mean, this to me would be
really
a scenario. I don't know. I like Alt too much.
All right.
Yeah. Now, as far as the,
I would have took the deal.
The New Orleans deal,
I would have took that because it gives us number 45. It gives us a 2. And with Alt, Bowers, Fuaga, and Fashanu, or not Fashanu, Fatanu,
right?
Fontano, whatever the fuck his name is. There's 4 guys that I'm okay taking, and Brian Thomas Jr. So having that 45, I'll say this. I don't think Joe Alt is a Joe Thomas. I don't think he's an Orlando Pace. I don't think he is a Jonathan Ogden, where this guy is a clear-cut left tackle, Hall of Famer, plug and play for a decade. I think he's nice. I think he's an Eric Fisher. Eric Fisher went number 1 overall. not the greatest of tackles, but just a guy that you put in there for a couple of years, maybe made some Pro Bowls, but never. He's a DeBrickashaw Ferguson. He's not a guy that I'm dropping dead to have. I don't think he's ever going to be talked about as the best tackle in football. I don't think he's ever going to be all-pro 1 or 2. I just think he's a guy who could borderline be a Pro Bowl sub, and that's his ceiling, in my opinion.
I think that's his floor. I think that's his floor, to be honest.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying the floor and ceiling are that far apart. Maybe that like his floor and ceiling are pretty close together, but still, if you were to drop all the way to 10, to me, it's tough to pass on him. Now, I'm looking at the chat, and the chat seems a little bit divided on this. If we should go with Alt or go with the trade, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's go. We're going to reject Minnesota. We're going to certainly reject Miami. I'll look at the counter option here. All right. So what if hypothetically I was able to take 111 out and maybe throw in, say, 185? Like if I was to do that and save, and
wow, look at their picks. They would give up.
That's crazy.
They wouldn't pick again until 150.
They are.
Wow. They're a team that could trade that.
Well, that is one weird draft right there.
But they'll own round 5, 150, 168, 170, 175, 190, 199.
They're like the new LA Rams.
5 and 6.
Yeah, they're like the new LA Rams is what they are.
Hey, man, you hit on 2 of those. That's a great draft.
Man, oh man. All right, so do you think this would – yeah, so how about we propose this trade and let's see if they bite. All right. 10,
I don't think they will.
I don't think they will, but
don't forget, there's no take back. If they take it, it's done.
Yep. Let's see what happens. I might want to left click instead of right click. All right, they rejected that one. Okay. I think the chat is leaning towards just taking Joe Alt. So, you know what? We're going to go ahead and do that for the chat. All right. So let's draft Joe Alt from Notre Dame.
While that's running, you're going super fast. I'll be quick with this. The 76ers are favored in the series against the Knicks.
That's cute.
I mean, they should be, right?
I'm not worried. The Knicks did a very good job against Embiid when he played it. The Embiid only played one game against the Knicks, and the Knicks won that game by 20 points.
And the Knicks were only 4 games better than the Sixers, and Embiid only played 39 games.
Mm-hmm.
So the Sixers would have ran away with the 2 seed if he plays 70.
Well, Robinson missed 50 games. Randall missed 36 games. And
I've said this for 2 years, though. You're better without Randall. That offense flows better. There's more. There's less ground and pound. It looks like Rex Ryan's coaching the Knicks when Randall's there because it's just pound the ball into the ground the entire possession.
And here's the other thing. With OG Anunoby on the roster, the Knicks have 20 wins and 3 losses.
Ooh.
That's really good. All right. This Indianapolis trade, I got no interest in this one whatsoever. This is useless. The Ravens won 72 and 257. I don't want to have to wait until pick 111 to make another pick. So I think we're going to reject these trades.
This might be the best case scenario to have with these.
This is oh my god, what a board this is.
And have Wilson and Leggett there after taking Alt, like 2 receivers that you could trade up for. Like, if we take a tackle, I fully think the Jets could trade up, taking their 3 and one of their 4s to go get a receiver. To sit here and have them there.
I'm just going to pull up offense here. Yeah, even though I like Fisk and we just talked about Marshawn Nealon, and I'm a big Cole Bishop fan, right now we got to look at offense. And there is, this level of talent is crazy.
Now it's a matter of what you want to do. Schematically with your offense. If you want to keep Garrett Wilson outside, you draft Roman Wilson. If you want to move Garrett Wilson into the slot, you take Xavier Leggett. And I have a hard time passing on somebody like Leggett who can learn from Mike Williams and go into that X outside role next year and be a Deebo Samuel. Isn't he 220? Yeah, 221. You might add a couple more pounds of muscle before September.
9.9 rest. I'll tell you this.
When you got him and Garrett, you got your Debo Ayuk combination with McCaffrey in the backfield.
The first time I was doing these videos a couple months ago, I started off doing a search on backup quarterbacks, mid-round quarterbacks. The first video I watched was Spencer Rattler. I watched about an 8-minute highlight video of Spencer Rattler, and I would say 3 out of every 4 passes he threw to Xavier was to Xavier Leggett. By the end of that video, I was like, I need to research Xavier Leggett. I don't know where he's projected to go or if he's even draft eligible. I just know I want him on the Jets right away. Like, he was making contested catches. He was creating separation. He's 6'1", but he was playing like he was 6'3". Like, he had just that little extra something. And if Aaron Rodgers is the one throwing him the football, oh my goodness, this offense will be lethal. Lethal. So, yeah, I am very Alon, I'm going to put you in timeout. You just stick with your Hawks. You just worry about them and whichever random Iowa team you're rooting for this week. Hey, how about you worry about getting past the Carolina Hurricanes? You got enough there to keep you busy.
What did Iowa do to you? Why is Iowa catching strays, bro?
I don't know. He's mentioned the Iowa teams before. It's not me, but I don't know. Yeah, for me, yeah, I'm definitely a Leggett guy. I certainly like Roman Wilson as well. The way he turns upfield, more of the yak guy. Yeah, but you're right. 2 very different types of receivers. But again, Wilson is 5'10".
And speed, like,
so
it's what do you want?
You have more versatility.
Do you want Garrett in the slot more often, or do you want Garrett outside and Roman in the slot? That's all this comes down to. This is a great problem to have, in my opinion.
And that's the beauty of it, because, if man, oh man, I'm just looking for the best production, and thank God we have Garrett who can go into either situation and still be fantastic. So to me, Leggett is the way that I would go with this draft pick. So, but chat, let us know what direction would you like us to go? Do you want Leggett? Do you want Wilson? Or are you looking at a little bit of a different direction that we're not even talking about? So,
I would take Leggett.
Yeah.
And I would put Garrett in the slot. And I would go steal as many plays as I could from the Miami Dolphins with how they get Tyreek Hill free releases. And I would use that, get the ball out of Rodgers' hands fast, get it into Wilson's hands. And
Gary Wilson's like your Cooper Kupp now. He's like Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
I'm smiling. Oh, man, I can't stop smiling just thinking about this.
I'm glad you brought me in so that I could have my name on this mock. That I did this mock with Nick. We got Walton Leggett without trading up.
Nick, it's so funny because typically our wheel drafts are better than our regular drafts. Yeah. I don't know why, but they have been better. It's scary how good the wheel has been for us lately. Nice. All right, we are drafting Xavier Leggett in the 3rd round in one of the biggest steals I've ever seen, I think. And now we wait till pick 111. Let's pull the big board back up. All right. So we have one trade offer, and it's from the Seattle Seahawks. Hey, I'm always down for a trade with the Seahawks, considering we usually own them. And they want us to go down 7 picks, and they will give us pick 179. So that would be, right around the end of the 5th round, I want to say, beginning of the 6th. Sound about right? 32-6. Yeah, right. I think late 5th round is what that would be. Okay. All right. Well, if we look at what's available right now, we still have Dwayne Carter, very good defensive tackle from Nick's favorite school, Duke University. If you'd like to add on to the offensive line, you've got Dominique Pooney, who's definitely been working his way up the rank. Papayetti wants us to look at safety. We definitely will. McKinley Jackson could help at defensive tackle, but we got to look at the safety position here, I would say. And I see a couple of players that I like, and the first one that sticks out, we talked about him, Jaden Hicks. I don't think there is a player I have seen mocked to the Jets more outside of the 1st round more than this guy.
Which means we'll never get him. Joe Douglas won't. It won't happen.
Yeah, meaning that's the last guy they brought him in for a top 30 visit, so they are thinking about it.
It's not that there's not interest. It just won't work out that way. Name the last guy that we all fell in love with with mocks in the mid round that they landed.
Jaden
Jaden Hicks has been
Kenny
the
Ebola. Oh, that was just Green Bean. I'm sorry.
but Hicks has been that round 4 darling, right? Pratt,
Yep.
Jordan Travis, Hicks, maybe Benson. I always feel that like whoever we fall in love with the mock draft websites, Douglas's board is not there. It's usually a guy we all go, huh? Michael Clemens, Michael Carter's. It's never the guy that we all think. You know what I mean? It could be like it could be an edge here. Like, you know what I mean? But
It could be.
if you can you go up to the top of the board total?
Yeah. Yep, there we are.
I hate all things Duke, but I would take Carter.
I definitely like Carter. Yep, I like Carter. I like Jackson.
Because
I like it.
Remember last year?
Yep.
Lawson, Huff, last year of deals. This year, Solomon Thomas, last year deal. Fatu, last year deal. Kinlaw, last year deal.
Right.
There needs to be the pipeline, right?
Yep.
So,
just want to mention Michael Pratt is there too, and the Jets have been doing a ton of research on Michael Pratt. They are meeting with him every opportunity they get. I don't know if they love him, but they have this need where they have this thing where they feel they need to get to know him better. So I don't know if they love him, but
they're going to turn over medical, right? That might be medical. Let's get him in the building. Let's physically examine him. We saw him at the draft. Let's see how he progressed to now.
All right, so Carter. I want to look at the edge rushers, see if there's anybody here. Javon Solomon and Jonah Ellis both still available. Muhammad Kamara could come a ways later. I don't know Jalen. I didn't even know that Houston Christian was even a college. I'm not even familiar with that one. 6'3", 252, and 9.22 RAS, but no scouting report or anything like that.
They're the redheaded stepchild of TCU. They're HCU.
There you go. I would, and Papa Yeti say Mosley is aging. I could see a linebacker. I think it is possible. I mean, I don't know if Barnes was really the guy they had in mind, but I wouldn't be taking one in the 4th round just yet. I really think the only 2 guys that would actually, I would say, legit excite me at this spot would be Hicks and Carter. There's guys I like. Mustafa, I like him. Pooney, I like him. But Hicks and Carter, either one of those would. Hank G wants to see defensive tackle. Yeah, you got it, man. So besides Carter, you have McKinley Jackson. Mekhi Wingo's a pretty good one too. I like Wingo. Tyler Davis, Keith Randolph are more run stoppers. Jordan Jefferson, some people like him, some people really don't. Justin Aboigbe is sort of like a flyer project. Definitely got talent, but needs some refining.
Is McKinley Jackson the one with the 9.91 RAS score, Adam?
Is which one?
Jackson, is he the one with the really high RAS score?
Not quite. A mere 3.08.
My God, is that his GPA? What the fuck was that?
He should only hope.
One of these D tackles I thought had a 9.
I'll scroll through them. Carter 7.67. That's respectable. I'll guarantee you it's not Keith Randolph. Yeah, 4.82. I knew that was not going to be very good.
Wow.
Aboigbe 5.77. How much further down do you want me to go? That's what she said. Gabe Hall, 9.2. Well done. Thank you.
Well done.
Christian Boyd, an even 3. So, yeah, I guess whichever one you had in mind, he must have already been taken. All right. All right, guys. I would go – I think either Carter or Hicks is where we're going to go here. And I think either way would be a good spot. But it's going to be our one shot at these guys. So,
me personally, I would rank it Carter, Travis, Hicks.
You like Travis that much? Okay. And I think, I don't. Not that Mustafa would make it that far, but I would like him too. I like Oladapo. There's still some decent safeties down a little ways, but to me, Hicks is about the high of this pick. All right, I think Carter is kind of where we're leaning at this point, so I think we're going to go with Dwayne Carter, a multi-year captain at Duke. I want to mention that as well. So, just quick scouting report: wide, stout, leverage frame, superb mass, proportional length, Explosive. When you see explosive twice, that's usually a good sign. Yeah, three-year captain, known for his leadership on and off the field, right there. So, yeah, and even the weaknesses are not that. Occasionally overextends. That kind of stuff can be taught. That can be harnessed. I'd rather a guy be overextensive and be too aggressive because that can be harnessed as opposed to trying to teach them aggression.
Yeah, word for word, I was going to say, if you're quick enough to get into the gap, I can coach you and teach you positioning and angle where you're not out of position. So if you have that explosiveness, we can harness that and work with that and have you play within yourself and within the scheme. But if you don't have that burst, you can't teach that. Combination, natural leverage, stack and shed. I like that.
Okay. All right. Well, I know Jets Mess wants to get a hard-hitting animal. Yeah. Jets Mess wants somebody right out of jail or somebody like that. But we could get somebody like that a little bit later on, but I will definitely keep that in mind.
Fresh from the cemetery, the Jets draft O.J. Simpson.
Too soon, Nick. Too soon.
Oh, dude, it's been 30 years. Not too soon.
Dwayne Carter, it is. Zach Zinter went a lot sooner than I thought he was going to go. All right. Patriots trade for Kyrie Jackson. I don't even know
149. Show me 149.
149?
Go down to 149. Player ranking. Keep going. Oh, he's gone. I think Jordan Travis was 149.
122 to the Bears.
Poopy caca.
Bears. Wait. I got to go back to the original draft results here. I got to see something. I just thought. All right, go back up. Bears. So they are drafting Caleb Williams and Jordan Travis.
That's a good call. Here's why.
Really? Wow.
Remember Kirk Cousins and RG3?
Mm-hmm.
How'd that work out? Kirk Cousins going out to be
you talk to.
Caleb Williams is not going to work.
I don't have a good feeling on him.
It's not going to work.
I'm a little surprised they would go 4th round, but hey, it's
jerks.
Don't accuse them of not
Bunch
trying.
Of jerks.
All right, if we look at the big board right now, so just as a recap for those of you just joining us or fast forwarding us, we've taken Joe Alt at 10, Xavier Leggett at 72, Dwayne Carter at 111. For not making any trades, I think we're knocking this out of the freaking park.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy.
Yeah. Now, we've only got 2 picks left here. So, to me, at this point, you're just taking the – yeah.
I love that you wrote off the last 2. Like, we only got 2 picks left.
Well, 2 picks that anybody will ever remember. All right. Assist wants to know about offensive guard, safety, or running back. And, of course, Jets Mess wants linebacker. And Jets Mess wants me to show the picks. And I did that before I even saw his comments. So, Jets Mess, I'm reading your mind, boy. All right.
Papa Yeti, it's a Poland Spring. It's got the green label. So when I put the green in front of the green screen, it makes it disappear. Magic. Welcome to the world. Magic.
I got the green blender bottle. All right, safety, Tyke Smith. I think he's okay, but I've got him actually. I don't know if I like him as much as others. I had him just outside my top 15. Oladapo is there, which is very intriguing.
Oladapo.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know these Jalen Carley's, Kenny Logan. I don't know them as well. Proctor's fine, but I would rather take a chance on Proctor at 185. I think it's a little early. And at linebacker, we've taken Curtis Jacobs before. Jalen Ford, 6'2", 240, 8.3 RAS. Like, at this point, how do these guys – it's almost insulting when you get to the scouting reports like coming soon. It's like the draft is in a week. When is the scouting report going to be on the website already? Come on, guys.
You want me to translate for you?
Yeah, we don't. Yeah,
we didn't give a damn about this player.
yeah, and these are guys in the 4th round, not the 7th round.
Not worth it.
No,
not worth our time.
A grade of NWI.
How's the running back situation? Anybody fall?
Uh-oh. What did I just hit?
Oh, hold on.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh. You went to trade analyzer. All
I didn't
right.
mean to do that.
All right. Enlarge that. Do you have that enlarged on your entire page?
Yeah.
Okay. There might be a hidden X somewhere.
Not that one.
Oh, no. Try to hit the back button.
That's what I was thinking, but I was worried that would kill it.
Be a lot.
Ah! My bad, guys. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I've done
There's
it.
there's only
You
there's
hit the
only
trade analyzer up top, and it. Oh my
I
God!
did.
There's infinite Nicks and Adams.
There's only one thing I could say about this. That's on me. But never fear, because we are not done just yet. I think it's time to break out the wheel. I think I have to do that right now.
Let's rock.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're going to start over, and we're just going to quit. That was a 3-round mock draft, everybody. That's all that was.
Assist my suicide. And I always love to see you in the chat because it means no one assisted your suicide yet. It was going way too well anyway. It was going way too well. Like it was the perfect mock. There's no way that the football gods. You know what? I'd rather have the perfect draft next weekend than the perfect draft with you here tonight. So maybe that was the football gods' way of saying, pump your brakes, fools. You guys are doing too well, and we can't reveal this yet.
Why can't we have nice things?
Is that the greatest proud New York Jet fan I can find a positive on this as well?
That actually is pretty good. Yeah, well, this was the Thursday Friday draft, so this was the warm up for the main event, and the main event is when we break out.
We got a new wheel. It's a mock wheel.
It's the mock wheel.
Got you. I always get excited about the 100 players. That's my favorite thing.
Oh, we'll be going back to those in due time, but you can only do the draft wheel so often during the year, and this is like peak draft wheel time. All right, we got
I got 2 picks, and then I'm gonna lay down. I'm exhausted.
Okay. All right, enter solo draft. All right, no Joel this time.
Oh wait, you got to spin it before we. Yeah, right. You got to spin it before we look at the picks because it might be a trade down scenario.
Yep, it will be. Okay, so let's pull that up. Let's maximize the wheel. Now, guys, as you probably know, we've got different positions on here. We've got just offense. We've got just defense. We've got chat's choice, where you guys make the decision. We have the highest ranked player left on the board. So there's all kinds of different places that we could go with this wheel. So, guys, here we go. Let's spin the wheel in 3, 2, 1.
Cornerback.
It's going to come to a stop.
There we go. Trade.
Oh, trade if offered. Okay, so we have to do a trade here. All right, let's go back to the draft. All right, so let's see what's available. So we have 2 offers. Now, the Carolina Panthers are making a very interesting trade. They want to trade us 2 second-round picks and the first pick in the 3rd round, along with a 3rd next year for our 10, but it's requiring us to go down 23 spots. Wow. That is a weird trade. You talk about quantity over quality. And our next offer is...
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes. That's a dream. That is a dream trade back for us. That is the perfect trade back.
Oh man, part of me is like, can we do?
They're overpaying, dude. They're overpaying by like 200.
They are. I wouldn't even. Yeah. So let's reject Carolina. And guys, is there any doubt that we're going to accept this trade right now? I don't think there is. 10 for 15 and 46, and we've got ourselves a second
propose that trade to them and get that approved. Any mock on any site, the algorithm won't do it.
Nope. And let's see. So they traded up for Terry and Arnold. They traded up for a cornerback. Then came Latu. Dunze. Yeah, Dunze went Bowers and then Latham. All right. Well, we've got pick 15, but we can't pick yet because you know why. We've got to spin the wheel in 3, 2, 1. Oh man, we got to take a quarterback.
Nice. Let's get wild.
Maybe we could trade Aaron Rodgers in this thing as well. I don't know. All right.
Let's get.
This is gonna get crazy. We had several go already. We've had, JJ went, and then of course quarterbacks with the first 3 picks. So it's gonna be Penix or Nix.
David D coming in with spinning. Guys, don't forget a super chat is a great way to support the show and make Adam spin again.
Super chats have the power, and they cut the line.
You don't like what you see? A super chat is always a way to create new rules throughout the games.
Yep, and we got and I've got the notifications for Venmo and Cash App. That won't offend me either. But no.
Careful with that. YouTube is very, very strict with that.
Yeah,
they don't want their cut going elsewhere.
Exactly. And a quick update. End of the third quarter, it is the Bulls 110 and the Hawks 92. Atlanta's season is on its way to going to an end.
That's the 9-10.
We have late breaking news, and it's from David D, and he wants me to... Does I have to work this way around? We've got to spin the wheel again. Oh, man. All right.
Dave, I'm sorry, David. It was a $10 super chat.
The first wheel we'll give a break on. All right. So here we go. So let's...
That'd be great if it comes back quarterback again. Or highest rated player if it's a quarterback.
David D being like freaking Eric DeCosta saving the draft. Okay, here we go. Let's spin the wheel.
Please be running back. Be running back or quarterback.
If it's quarterback again, I quit.
Or linebacker. Give me linebacker, running
back. Linebacker, yes. I'm sorry I removed kicker from this wheel, but what do you want me to do?
How do you get super chats? You leave it to the wheel.
Right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Running back. Oh, no. It was right there. Damn it.
It's going to be chat's choice. All right. This is completely up to the chat. So
chat,
all we're going to do,
please.
We're going to mention a couple of players, but we're not going to try to influence you guys.
Oh, no. I'm influencing. Chat, everybody put quarterback.
I tried. What the hell?
Everybody put quarterback. This is not a logical wheel. You cannot try to apply logic in an illogical situation.
Yeah. You've got Fataga. You got Tralisi Fataga.
Papa Yeti following my lead, and he put Penix.
Oh boy, I try to combine the names. What do you want? Amarius Mims, Brian Thomas there as well.
Yes, I would take.
Of course,
Brian
we'll probably
Thomas
take Jared Verse. All right, Wiggins.
All kidding aside, I would take Brian Thomas Jr. here. I'm team weapon. That's me. I know a lot of people want linemen, but Brian Thomas with Mike Williams on the outside with Garrett Wilson in the slot is amazing. That's better than Leggett.
I just wonder how good he's going to be. I mean, he did play with Neighbors. That's like one thing. It's like, well, maybe he took advantage of an offense where he was not the focal target. But, with us, we have Garrett, so it could work.
Then you learned from Mike Williams. Brian Thomas can be a better version of Mike Williams in year 2.
And guys, he could be. He could be. And remember, guys, we do have the second round pick as well. We're not waiting until 72 this time.
But we don't know what the wheel's going to say, so it's not like we can get our choice.
So you better take advantage of whatever you can while you can, chat.
Yeah, if you get a position of need, I know.
All right, right now Fuaga with a slight edge over Thomas and Penix.
There's 2 that just came in.
Wait a second. Dude, this is not the presidential election. You cannot manipulate the ballot boxes.
Oh, hold on.
Are you going to have OJ vote for Brian Thomas too?
Well, we have to wait till 3:00 in the morning in any swing states to see what vote is needed before we calculate everything.
Yeah, you're in New Jersey. That's not a swing state.
Oh, that doesn't stop them.
No, it doesn't.
Hey, man, I'm a subscriber to the channel twice. Why don't I get a vote? I subscribed to Nick Shine is subscribed to this channel and Proud NYJ fan.
Because I don't vote on my own post.
Oh, that's your own channel. It's not my channel, bro. I am a member of your chat.
That is fair.
You don't have to count my pick. I just wanted to have fun with it.
Grab that. There we go. All right, guys. Right now we're pretty much it's pretty close, but it's gonna be Fuaga or Thomas. So I'll give you guys another minute to make your vote, and then we're gonna make our pick. But again, this one is all you. I thought somebody would vote for. We got to vote for Fatanu. So the Fataga combo is pulling ahead here. There's so many ways. Yeah. I still like Troy Lisi. I think that works pretty well. Okay. 8 days away. Thank goodness. I'm so ready. I'm so ready to start getting to know the new players for this team. So ready. All right.
Can't wait to fully dive into the do we pick up Vera Tucker's option or not? Because that'll be the next hot topic.
Yes.
Do we sign Bakhtiari or Boyd?
Bakhtiari, Boyd. DJ Chark as well. I'm still waiting for him to sign someplace. All right. Looks like Fatanu's got 2 votes. Thomas has somewhere between 1 and 3 votes, depending on how you're counting. And Fuaga has 3. So it looks like Fuaga is going to win this poll. So it is Talise Fuaga.
I'm okay with that, I guess.
Going to the Jets at number 15.
Bunch
and now
in the chat.
we got our second round pick. Now, let's click off there because we have to go back to the wheel.
I hope it's never chat's choice again. You guys are no fun.
All right, here we go. Well, hey, first of all, let's thank David D because we just went from Michael Pence to Talise Fuaga.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, here we go, guys. In 3, 2, 1, spin.
Be quarterback. Interior line.
For the very first time we have landed that I remember. We have landed on the highest ranked.
Who was it?
player.
I didn't even look. Is it Penix?
So what that means is
Please be
we
Penix.
have to pick whoever the top ranked player is on the board.
And
it's Darius Robinson, the edge rusher from Missouri.
Didn't it mean the highest rated offensive board?
Just on the board.
I'm messing with you because I saw Zach Frazier's next.
Yeah, actually most of this board is defense right now. 4 of the next 5 are defense.
I don't gamble anymore. I gave up. I actually signed the thing on one of the apps that gives up gambling in New Jersey for 5 years on like any of the websites. Like I can't register on any app. I can't log into it. My email, social, everything is. I could go to Atlantic City if I win $15,000 and I try to go to a table or a window to cash it out. They'll be like, "You can't win this."
Wow.
Yeah. So I wanted to be done with it. But my favorite prop bet is, will this be the most amount of offensive players ever drafted in round 1? The most amount of offensive players ever drafted in round 1. A little trivia for you. Do you want to take a guess?
The most number of offensive players ever drafted in a first round before?
Yep.
22.
No. Nope. 19.
19?
I think this year sets the record.
Maybe it'll be 22 this year. Maybe.
You might have 6, 7 linemen. You might have 5 wide receivers. You might have 4 quarterbacks.
Yep. 1 tight end. And I'm willing to bet no running backs.
Who knows? Maybe you get that kid at the end of the round 1. Somebody bumps up for him.
I don't think it's going to happen. Benson or Brooks? No. I think second round at best. I do not think a running back goes first round this year.
I mean, you could have 8, 9 linemen, right? You could have Alt,
easily.
Fuaga, Fanu, Mims, Latham, JPJ,
Alt, JPJ,
possibly
maybe
5 quarterbacks.
maybe or Haynes, Barton. Don't forget Barton.
Barton. I mean, you might be looking at 20 offensive linemen, 20 offensive players.
20 players, right? Yeah.
All right, so we have no choice here. We got to go this guy.
Yeah. Have you? I gotta be honest. I haven't watched anything on Darius Robinson. Have you seen anything on him?
I saw a highlight. I like his size and his speed. He's a force, but
Okay. Well,
he won't be a Jet.
No.
But today he is.
Today he is. All right. And Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh rejoice. Okay. Now we go to pick 72. Into the third round we go, and it is time to spin the wheel in 3, 2, 1. Please do not get edge rusher. Not an edge rusher, but that's the next closest thing. We have to draft a linebacker.
Wouldn't a defensive tackle be the closest thing to it? No. I was thinking in terms of lining up.
I don't think that was defensive tackle was an option. Yeah. All right. So we go to the linebacker list, and we got a few. We got Trevin Wallace and Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who I think was one of the attorneys in the movie My Cousin Vinny, if I remember correctly. Not quite,
Really?
but close. Go with it. All right. Tyron Hooper, James Williams. I like James Williams. I'm actually glad James Williams is listed now as a linebacker as opposed to a safety because as I watch him, he's a much more of a linebacker than a safety. Now, Trevin Wallace, 6. I would like to draft more of a middle linebacker to step in that place for Mosley one day. 9.34 rest. That's a very fine start. Dense, compact, exceptional mass, proportional length, elite sideline to sideline range, and closing explosiveness in pursuit. Can tackle runners like Randy Orton with his swarming RKO. Apex Predator. Combined length and leverage, second level blocks. Athleticism and length provide immense upside as a blitzer and a coverage linebacker. At times can be a bit late to find the ball and trigger on misdirection. Over-aggression, okay. Isn't consistent in IDing run schemes and using that information to reach landmarks. What are we, Carmen Sandiego now? What is that? Has room to become more consistent with zone IQ and hip leverage and coverage. You definitely got some upside with this guy. All right, now Trotter, 6'0", 228, and no rest whatsoever.
Good bloodline. You want to do a wrestling reference? There you go. Take the
Acknowledge.
bloodline.
I acknowledge.
The bloodline. Take the bloodline.
Yes. Yeah. And when Trotter comes to the Jets, he'll say, JTJ is now in Yo City. Anyway, yeet. Sports squatty.
Brother, I am
I just yeeted.
I am exhausted. I'm falling asleep sitting here.
Okay.
I got to put my feet up. I made my chicken. You know the chicken I make with the barbecue and the Caesar dressing and the seasoning.
I know the chicken.
And I was eating that. I cut it up. I was making that and having the barbecue, a little too much sugar, and that tires me out. So I shouldn't have had it, but I needed to finish the bottle of barbecue sauce before I move out Sunday, and I didn't want it to go to waste because I'm weird. I'm cheap. So
I got to go through a lot of stuff too. I got to get some food out of here as well in the next 3 weeks. So I know the feeling.
It's a new beginnings, my friend, for both of us.
That is right.
All right. Good night, chat. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Hey, you free tomorrow?
I think so. Yeah, I think I should be able to jump out for a little bit tomorrow. Yeah,
all right.
I think so.
Plan for 10:20. Come on.
Okay.
That way I'll do the opening and stuff, and then you do what you got to do on your end, and then hop
that should work. And yeah, I'm actually I'm off Friday. Friday is the first big packing day, but I'm off Friday, so Thursday should be fine.
Nice. And if you're Papi Eddie, Friday is a big fudge packing day for him.
There you go.
I joke out of love. All right. Good night, everybody. Good night, Hank. Good night, guys.
Good night, Nick.
Good luck. I'll be watching the rest of the way. I'm gonna get in bed and kick my feet up. I've been on my feet since 4:45.
All right. Well, we'll see you later. You rest up, okay?
Later, pal.
Bye. All right. It's always good when Nick joins us. Always a good time. Okay, guys. Well, so thanks for staying with me. And we got to continue the draft here. We're going to go with either Trotter or Wallace. Trotter, of course, does come from a very good bloodline. His father, a very good linebacker with the Eagles. Second-level coverage defender, depth, discipline, route recognition. So it seems like Trotter's got the football instincts here that we would like. Maybe not the pure athlete that Wallace is, though. So I think that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. David D, I actually talked about this at the beginning of the show. I'm moving to Raleigh, North Carolina next month. So I will be leaving the great Commonwealth of Virginia very, very soon. So, yep, gave my notice to my job on Monday, accepted the job the previous Friday, and settled on that was pretty much the sequence. Friday, I accepted the job, which took about 3.5 weeks to get. Sunday, I made a decision on an apartment that became official today, and Monday I gave my notice to my job. Only thing I got to do now is pass the background check, so let's all hope and pray they don't find out about my channel. Nick jokes he's going to Alaska. That's actually when I turned 40 years old. That's where I was. I was in Alaska on a cruise. One of the coolest vacations I've ever had. That was amazing. Yeah, Alaska. If you like travel, you got to go to Alaska at least one time. You got to check it out. There's no other place like it. Thanks, Hank. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to be the information director of financial aid at a pretty well thought of private college. Let's put it that way. But I'll be in Raleigh, very close to NC State. Not working at NC State, but right near there. But I'm pretty much right in the heart of Raleigh, like 5 minutes away from PNC Arena. So. What was the cruise called? Alaska, my final dream home. I think it was a Princess cruise, as I remember. I think it was on Princess. It was actually only the second cruise that went to Alaska after the pandemic. So our cruise was a pretty big deal. Yeah, they were excited. They were excited to have us. It was about a year. Yeah, so it was July of 2021. So it was about a year and a half they had shut down, and we were the second cruise ship to go into Alaska after the pandemic. Yeah. All right, guys. Any preference on Wallace or Trotter? We got to pick a linebacker. If not, shoot, I'll probably just flip a coin. I don't know. We'll give you a minute or so. Why not? All right. All right. Well, I think what I'm really looking for is sort of that middle linebacker, sort of like that. I want the good football instincts. So to me, I think I'm going to go with Trotter. If everyone's okay with that. Yeah, I'm just going to take Trotter. Yeah, Ron, Princess is pretty good. Yeah, they're pretty good. Royal Caribbean's my favorite, but Princess was a good one too. All right, now we go all the way to pick 111. Man, a lot of good players just went off the board. Washington, Fisher, Carter, Pratt, Braylon Allen. Wow, a lot of running backs in a row. Cole Bishop, Jonathan Brooks. That was the running back run right there. All right, now we go to pick 111. Now, just to recap where we've been and what we have left, we've used 3 picks. Salise Fuaga, Darius Robinson, and Jeremiah Trotter. We still got 111, 134, 185, 256, and 257, unless I hit something else again that I shouldn't. All right, well, we got to go back to the wheel, so let's spin the wheel in 3, 2, 1. Round and round it goes, and it's coming to a stop on quarterback. All right. Well, you know what? We had the super chat last time to sort of overrule it, but I think in this spot, as a matter of fact, this might be a pretty good place. Now, Michael Pratt, not on the board. Spencer Rattler, not on the board, but we do have a couple of good choices in Jordan Travis. Joe Milton definitely has a big arm. I said before, I think Joe Milton is one of those boom or bust prospects, but my guess is the chat is going to lead towards Jordan Travis, but if you want me to go with Milton, let me know. Yeah. Hey, Harlan, sorry if you had a bad experience on Royal Caribbean, but I've been on twice, and I had a great time. Sorry if it wasn't the same for you, man. All right. I'll tell you what. Yeah, let's go with the quarterback. I'm pretty sure. Does everybody just want me to take Jordan Travis? I mean, are we all cool with that? Yeah? All right. Fair enough, guys. Let's go ahead and
go with I'll give it like 30 seconds just to make sure everybody has a chance to put their comments in, because I know when I speak to the time you have a chance to respond like 10, 15 seconds pass by. Okay, we're getting some support for Travis. Let's take him at 111 and resume draft. There we go. I think the Jaguars just had about 4 picks in a row there. How about that? Okay, let's click off of that and go back over to the wheel. So this is for pick 134. And let's spin the wheel in 3, 2, 1. I don't want quarterback again. And once again, we get the highest ranked player on the board. So regardless of position, we've got to pick the best ranked player on the board. So let's X out of the wheel and let's go back to the simulator. And I'm going to pull up the big board. And who have we got? Oh my gosh, look at that. T'Vondre Sweat, the defensive don't let him drive to the press conference, but he's on the board at the end of the 4th round. Wow. Harlan Abraham says Travis over Bradley, oy vey. As Jeff Dunham would say, that's Jewish for holy shit. That's a Jeff Dunham joke, not my joke. Wow, so at 134, defensive tackle, a position we have not addressed yet, and you have tremendous upside. It's a little bit of a risk, but the fact that T'Vondre Sweat made it all the way down to the end of the 4th round, I don't think we have to take him. No way around it. But if he keeps his mind right, this would be a steal beyond steals. All right, now we go to pick 185. And this is the part where you start wanting to get Chat's choice or any offensive player or something like that, right? Okay, well, if we do get best player, it's going to be Isaiah Davis, the running back. But what's the wheel going to say about it? Let's go back to the wheel. I'll take that in just one moment. Let's do the quick spin since I've already blown up. Any defensive player. Okay, we'll go back to that in a moment. And I want to say a quick thank you to Nick for the $9.99 super chat. Thanks so much, man. Nothing but personal and professional. I know, yeah, I know he spelled it that way on purpose. I know him well enough. All right, guys, so any defensive player. Now, to recap where we've been, we have drafted an edge in Darius Robinson, a linebacker in Jeremiah Trotter, and a defensive tackle in T'Vondre Sweat. I would think we're looking at the secondary here, yeah? Okay, so let's see what we have here. At cornerback, it's something that we can look into growing. I did mention DeCameron Richardson on a previous show. DeAndre Prince is the top-ranked cornerback, 6 foot, 183, 6.64. Now we're getting to the point. How can any cornerback who's draftable have a 2.94 RAS? Yuck. I think we need to go safety. And the top-ranked safety on our board is a player that we talked about just a few minutes ago, Evan Williams, the safety from Oregon. This bourbon's for you. I'm also a Trey Taylor guy from Air Force, named the best defensive. Which award was it? What, the defensive back of the year? Yeah, he won that award for in the entire country. So you want a hard hitter. Jets Mess wants a hard hitter. Trey Taylor can be that for you. Hey, Grandizer, yeah, 2 hours. Yep, we're still live. It happens very easily with the mock drafts. It always seems to. All right. So as far as the safety, I think we're going safety. So I think Williams, Taylor. Yeah, I like Jalen Simpson, but that's like a ways down. Did Proctor go? I guess Proctor went. All right, guys. Evan Williams, Trey Taylor. I'll look at Patrick McMorris. Nothing there. 3.71 RAS. Trey Taylor's got a 9.33 RAS. Evan Williams has an 8.2. All right, guys. Any preference? I think we're going to go safety here. So let's do either Evan Williams or Trey Taylor. Either one. I'll give you a minute or two on that.
So the Bulls beat the Hawks, so it's going to be Miami hosting the Chicago Bulls for the 8th seed in the NBA playoffs. Guard Alex Caruso from the Bulls has a, quote, significant right foot sprain, and he may not be able to play against Miami on Friday. Okay. All right, I'm seeing some love for Trey Taylor. Okay, let's go with him. 6 foot, 213 pounds, more size, definite weapon on special teams, good downfield hitter. He's going to be a really good box safety potentially, but at worst, he'll really help you on special teams. All right, it is Trey Taylor in round 6 for the Jets. And now we get to picks 256 and 257. All right, let's pull up the big board. And my boy Jawar Jordan just got drafted at 255. Oh, well. All right, 256. Obviously, there's not going to be a trade offer. So let's spin the wheel. 3, 2, 1. Here it comes, and it comes to a stop on wide receiver. Very good. That's a position that we haven't addressed yet, and it's a position we need to address, right? All right, well, let's see if there's any wide receivers here that we've actually heard of. Oh, if Johnny Jimenez was here, he'd be thrilled. Anthony Gould is there. Very fast player, but only 5'8". This will be a very, very good returner. Led the nation in punt yards per return. That would be a weapon. We talked about Palmer, 9.57 RAS. Very good very good good hard runner. Not the best accelerator, but very good, but good hands, very productive at UAB this year. So Palmer is there at 291. Now this guy Griffin from Mississippi State, don't know him. 5'10", 181, 6.95 RAS, therefore he sucks. Okay. All right, I'll scroll down a little bit, see if there's any. Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint. That's a guy that not a lot of people have talked about, but I know Mel Kiper likes him if you put any value in that. But when your RAS is a mere 1.68, gosh dang, that ain't so good. All right, I think that's about enough for that list. So if anybody has any names here that they're feeling, let me know. Put them down there in the chat. But Gold, we seem to like. Palmer, we have liked as well. Bub Means is 6'1", 212, a 9.35 RAS from Pittsburgh. Maybe he would be a useful addition as well. Xavier Weaver, 6 foot, 169. That guy's a pool cue. He's 6 foot even, and he's 169 pounds. Wow. Yep, Papiete, there was a bub. There sure was. All right, guys, I'm thinking Gould, Means, or Palmer. It's going to be one of the three, so if you have anybody in there that you're looking at, throw it down there in the chat for us. Papieti doesn't know him, go above. We know Johnny Jimenez is a big Anthony Gould fan. We know that very well. Highest rated? Okay. They're all pretty close, 283 to 291. It's pretty much a mishmash. I mean, yeah, the 9.57 RAS for Palmer is really, really good, but a 9.35 for Means. Gould, it's not as high, but yeah, if you want that return specialist, I mean, he's going to do 16.9 yards per catch last year. Pretty good, too. All right, I'm seeing a little love for Bub Means, so I'm just going to take him. All right, Bub Means, that gives us one spin left. All right, here we go. We're going to spin the wheel for the final time tonight, we think. In 3, 2, 1. And it's going to land on any offensive player. Okay, so let's go to offense. Now, so far, let's recap the draft. All right, so we've drafted Talise Fuaga, drafted a tackle, Darius Robinson, edge, Jeremiah Trotter, linebacker, quarterback, Jordan Travis, defensive tackle, Tavondre Sweat. I still can't believe that's real. Safety, Trey Taylor, and wide receiver, Bub Means. So he drafted a quarterback, an offensive tackle, and a wide receiver. So to me, about the only positions I wouldn't go with are probably quarterback and tight end. That's about it. Anything else I think is fair game. You could go with the running back. We have not drafted one of those yet. Dylan Johnson and Rasheen Ali, I think, would both be very worthy picks. As far as wide receiver goes, well, we were just there. All right, with the tackles, Walter Rouse, Ethan Driscoll, Julian Pearl. Okay. Yeah, you get used to some of these names after a while. And Kyle Hergel, Jacob Mugg, Clark Barrington. Kingsley Aguakin, you've heard me mention him before. I like Aguakin. He can play multiple positions. 9.11 RAS. I think this is a guy who would be a very good developmental player. He can play guard or center. Running back, you know what? Even if you don't draft a running back, you could always grab somebody undrafted, like Cody Schrader. We've talked about him from Missouri. I happen to like him. Not a great rest, but I think he's pretty dang good. Jace McClellan, Allie Johnson. I got to be honest with you. Just about any one of those running backs would work. A 1.91 rest for a running back. Now, Dylan Johnson, I know we talked about him before. I think Ali would be a pretty good one. Had an injury at the Senior Bowl, but he's good now. All right, guys, you guys are leaning towards running back? Okay. Harlan wants to go with Dylan Johnson. Yeah, all right, so the chat's really leaning towards running back. I shouldn't have closed my notes out, but I did. Yeah, we do these. I should keep my notes up about the players we talked about before. All right, guys, I'm going to go with Dylan Johnson from Washington. Don't want to keep you guys here all night. So, guys, go ahead, put your trades, your grades for the draft in there. So we drafted Fawaga, Robinson. Put it this way. What if, hypothetically, you switched Sweat and Robinson or something like that, or Sweat and Trotter? Because I think that was more realistic. If you were to take Sweat in the second or third round and move everybody down a peg, what would that look like? You know? Because I don't know a ton about Robinson. Trotter, I mean, fine, makes sense. Travis, developmental quarterback, I'm good with it. Like Sweat, I like Taylor. Means Johnson. So, wait, was that Sweat, Taylor, Means? Yes, Sweat, Means, and Johnson. This is a very weird draft. Okay. But guys, yeah, I'm curious if you have any grades on this, because this is kind of a weird one to grade, you know? Yeah, I think for me, I'd probably go with, we got that second round pick. Let's look at what the trade turned out to be. So basically, we traded Terry and Arnold for Talise Fawaga and Darius Robinson. How could you not like that trade? Yeah, I would probably go with like a B- at the best, maybe C+. Yeah, because we didn't address wide receiver until the very, very end. Yeah, a little bit too much on the defense up front, but still some very, very good picks. So for me, I'll go C+. I think C+ is pretty good, considering how random it is. All right. Well, guys, I'll tell you what. I'm going to, let's hit the stop sharing, and we're going to get out of the draft. But a couple quick things. First of all, as always, I want to thank you guys for spending your Wednesday night with me. I appreciate it very, very much. And coming up very soon on the channel the next 2 days, watch for the hockey previews. Rangers, Capitals, Islanders, Hurricanes. A little breakdown on Artemi Panarin. Also, I'll do a preview on Knicks Sixers. We'll come up with something there for you as well. So chances are I'll be doing most of those Thursday night, Friday morning, getting them up. I'm going to try to have everything up for you by the middle of Friday. So that's going to be my goal there. But I want to thank you all for watching. Continue to support your favorite content providers. Share the channels with a friend. That's how we get promoted. You do it for us as well as we could ever do it for ourselves. So your support means a ton. But again, I thank you. I'll see you next Wednesday as well from you know where, the Wicker Chair. Everybody have a great night, and I will see you later.